What's popping? What's popping? What's popping, baby? You know me and my boy is in the building, man. And it's like no other, baby. When we do pre-recordings, we actually do them live. No editing. We do it live because that's how we like to get in the kitchen. Sometimes you can't think of the plays, baby. You just got to call them. And that's usually how we get down over here on the Vibes channel. So my boy Rock went in the kitchen last night, put on the chef hat, cooked up all these good data points, man. We gonna figure out how to get you these quarterbacks that you need and to get rid of the ones that you don't have no business having when we trying to get them championships for this playoff run, baby. So, Rob, what's good with you, big dog? Let us know why we here. And, hey, man, we appreciate you doing what you're doing, brother.
I appreciate you too, Fizz. If this is the first time you guys are joining us, my name is Rock. That's Fizz. Thank you so much for joining us on the South Harmon Vibes channel. If you can please like and subscribe. But we are here, Fizz, talking about what people say is the most important position in sports. It might be the most important position in fantasy football, Fizz. We're going to go through all of the best quarterbacks in 2025 and, unfortunately, some of the worst quarterbacks in 2025. So we appreciate you guys tuning in for this show. And Fizz, I just want to tell you guys a little bit about my process before I start getting into the buys, start getting into the sells. Fizz, the way a lot of people operate in fantasy football is they start with the stats, they start with the metrics, and they see which players fit what they're looking for. Me, on the other hand, I start with the player, Fizz. It's all about the players, the best players in the NFL, and I see what metrics do they have most in common with one another. So I break things down for the quarterbacks as strong indicators, fair indicators, faint indicators, and lastly, that playoff schedule. That playoff schedule is very, very key. So I'll look at weeks 13 through 17. So as I go through all of these different tiers and metrics for all of these quarterbacks, that's how we're going to figure out who you want to buy, who you want to sell. But before I get into it, Fizz, this came up from the last video. Make sure you guys tune into that one. That's the tight end buys, tight end sells. This came up, and it's concerning injuries. So I think it's very important to talk about when it comes to taking on injured players, Fizz. Last week, we talked about Tucker Kraft being one of the best tight ends in football. And unfortunately, that very next week, he tears his knee. He's out for the rest of the season. He's not going to do anything for your championships this year. So when you take on a player like that, Fizz, when it comes to any skill players, whether it's the wide receiver, whether it's the running back, or whether it's the tight end, and we have no idea of a timetable for Tucker Kraft or anyone that does tear their knee, have a major injury like that. We also don't know what he's going to look like when he comes back. We don't know how long, most importantly, if at all he gets back to being one of those top tight ends in all of football, Fizz. It may not be until 2027 until he's 100% himself again. So I say this all to say that when it comes to injured players, one of the things I advocate the most for is wait until the end of the season, Fizz. When it comes to when his stock is going to be at his lowest, if you really want to buy into that, you want to take on that risk, that's going to be the best price you're going to be able to get him for. Or wait until around the NFL draft. So do not trade away your up and coming prospects. Do not trade away your Colson Loveland straight up for Tucker Kraft. Colson Loveland might be going on up. Tucker Kraft may be going down. And you don't want to trade for a guy whose stock is going to only be going down, is guaranteed to go down, and may even stay down. Fizz. It's just too much of a risk for me. So I wanted to make sure I put that caveat out there for when it comes to injured players, if that happens and you're watching this on the rewatch.
Well, to kind of add a little bit more sauce onto that, bro, for those that have that injured player and is trying to sell them, you got to know your league, right? Me personally, I like to play in leagues where I understand, or I try to figure out my competition. If I know this guy is a go hard Cowboys fan or Packers fan, and I know he been wanting crap from me, he been sending offers, I've been declining them. Now I'm going to try to see if I can get the most from him because maybe he's willing to give me the most for Tucker Kraft than anybody else in my league because this dude has already asked me a couple of times and I rejected it when he was hot. Now that he's cold, I might play that mind game with him and say, hey, man, remember that Kraft that you wanted? I got it. Of course, he's not going to give you what you wanted in the beginning, but that's when negotiations start and that's when the trust start building. And you can ultimately just end up giving somebody what they really want originally, just a little bit more banged up in a broken package, but still get back what you want. So always try to figure out in your league, go back to your DMs and see who was sending offers beforehand for these players, and then check back with them. Man, they might slap you in the face and say, "Oh, too little, too late." But end of the day, man, it's never too little, too late to go back and check them DMs and see who offered what and see what you can get, what type of return you can get currently than what you would have got before.
Yep, absolutely. I just wanted to start off with that. I think that's a very important piece of information when it comes to these players that are going to be on these buy lists or these sell lists. Is the injuries are always, they're always right around the corner, unfortunately, for a lot of these guys. You never see them coming. So make sure that you guys are careful when it comes to taking on injured players. Fizz, before we start getting into the buys, I want to get your thoughts on your just your opinion of the quarterbacks in 2025. Are the guys that are going off, were they guys that you really expected to have breakout seasons in 2025? What about the surprises? I think there's a lot of surprises, especially when it comes to this buy list, Fizz. I wanted to get your overall thoughts of the quarterback position for 2025.
Well, without giving the show away, I will say a lot of those buys are players that I probably wouldn't have thought I could sell, let alone buy. You know what I'm saying? Like a lot of these players that we have now, the Daniel Joneses, the Jacoby Brissetts, who just came out with this breaking news of him starting. Nobody in the world would have thought week one coming into the season, or even by week 3 or 4, that we would be asking to buy these guys. So a lot of great QB production this season. And the thing I like about it the most, Rock, is looking at draft season. We had a lot of dudes going the first round, second round, fourth round, sixth round. Those same names that we looked at, and I haven't checked my underdog in a long time, brother, but I'm pretty sure it ain't looking too good the way we thought quarterbacks would be. And the ones that we thought that were steals late, like CJ Stroud and Bo Nix, they look pretty average this year. But you got those underdog guys who might not even be on rosters currently that are lighting up the streets, baby. So, yes, a lot of different play, a lot of great play from the QB position. The most important position of all time when it comes to fantasy, dynasty, and these super flex leagues that we play in.
Yeah, and the name of the game when it comes to fantasy football, Fizz, is that you got to be able to pivot. You got to be able to adapt. That's the reason why I do this research, Fizz. I'm not holding on to the priors from during the offseason, because if I did that, man, Fizz, I would still be like holding on to players like Bo Nix, who was a top 10 QB going into the season. Now there's a lot more question marks. Jaden Daniels, unfortunately, he just got hurt. He's still in the thumbnail. He's still a made man, Fizz. He's still one of those guys. But unfortunately, he's probably not going to be able to contribute to your season this year. Same thing with Joe Burrow. We're going to talk about both of those injured guys a little bit later on in the season. But Fizz, all this data I'm about to present, it is hot off the press. This is weeks 1 through 9, so it's going to be the latest and the greatest when it comes to your information. So do you want to get right into it, Fizz? Oh, you're on mute.
Of course I'm on mute. Let's get straight to it. Let's get it popping, my brother.
All righty. Hell yeah. So we're going to start with the baseline. Baseline for my process, no matter the position, is points per game. Fizz, let's start off with the elite category. I want to name 2 names. These are the guys that are at the very top of my process. They scored the highest. It's Jalen Hurts and it's Drake May. Fizz, there is no one that I talked more smack about wanting to be, waiting on. I think the hype was just way too much when it came to Drake May. His season during his rookie year wasn't the greatest. So it was a lot of hope. Josh McDaniels coming in, Mike Vrabel coming in, them saying they wanted to run the hell out of the ball. Yep. There's a lot of things that Drake May had to do, and you know what? He's proven me wrong. I think he's the second best QB in fantasy, according to my process for 2025. And they have one of the best teams in the NFL. I mean, it matches what we see, and also, too, their record for the New England Patriots. But as much of an elite buy he is, and Fizz, I don't know if you saw this, he's the QB3 in Dynasty.
I'm looking at it right now, brother, while you speaking. QB3, big dog. QB3. Crazy work.
Absolutely insane. He's only behind Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson, Fizz. So I was definitely wrong about that. So I'm all in now on Drake May, who, he was right there with Jaden Daniels as far as my rookie prospect grade for him. I had him even ahead of Caleb Williams, but he's done a lot with a little in New England. So he grades out very, very highly. He's top 6 in so many different categories, Fizz, whether it comes to fantasy points per game, QBR, PFF pass grade, adjusted yards per attempt, passer rating, Fizz, and adjusted completion percentage. All those ones I just listed, he's top 6. But Fizz, if you have only one guy that you can buy that's going to be in the elite tier, I'm going to give it to Jalen Hurts, actually. He graded out just a little bit higher. He graded out as the number 1 QB in my process. He's one of our favorite guys. He has that elite rushing upside, especially when it comes to the rushing touchdowns, Fizz. He is top 6 in points per game. He has 5 rushing touchdowns. He is top 6 in adjusted yards per attempt, passer rating, and also to turnover worthy play percentage, Fizz. He does not put the ball in harm's way. He's got an elite offense around him with Saquon Barkley, with A.J. Brown, with Devontae Smith, with Dallas Goedert. So, but the main thing for the reason why he grades out just a little bit ahead of Drake May for me, it's that playoff run, Fizz. So if I pull up Drake May's, not Drake May, Jalen Hurts' schedule, I don't know what happened to it earlier.
Needle, you got it, big dog.
I got it real quick. Go. So in the last 5 weeks, he's playing Chicago. He's playing the LA Chargers. He's playing Las Vegas. He is playing Washington, and he is playing Buffalo, Fizz. So outside of that championship game versus Buffalo, a lot of those
could be a shootout. Still could be a shootout now.
Still could be a shootout. A lot of those matchups are top 10 to top 15, Fizz, when it comes to those defenses that he's going up against. Drake May, on the other hand, he also has a very solid playoff schedule as well, especially when it comes to the last 2 games, Fizz. The last 2 games, he is playing Baltimore, which is a sieve when it comes to defense. Maybe they turn it around like they did last year in the second half. But they're playing the New York Jets in the championship game. Fizz, I don't know if you know this. Half the New York Jets are now on different teams.
Yes, yes,
so,
literally.
So you can't go wrong with either of these 2 guys. But yeah, they're both in the elite tier when it comes to 2025 QBs. Who is your favorite amongst those 2, and are you buying either of those guys?
I'm gonna be honest, bro. You know, Hurts is my guy at heart. And I think right now, with so much controversy with the Eagles, people literally hate the Eagles. I think the best buy would be Jalen Hurts for the price, because a lot of people, man, people say what they want to say about the data, Rock. People play this game and everything in life with their heart. And if you're a Cowboy or an Eagle or one of those franchise 49ers that people can't stand in real life, they will carry it over into their dynasty leagues. I don't care what the hell they tell you. So I say that to say, Drake May right now is on a heater. He's younger. He has more prominent future, going forward. But I got to go with the Hurster, man, because that O-line is powerful. The defense is going to make sure he get that ball back. And we got A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith, Saquon Barkley, to name a few. So I'm trusting Jalen Hurts to keep and continue going to what he's doing. But if I'm a young non-contending team, I don't mind a Drake May either, because hey, we give us a year, we're going to keep building. But Drake May right now, man, is definitely got some respect on his name, and we love to see it, bro. So I think I'm going to roll with Jalen Hurts personally, though, because I just think within a 2-year span where we like to play in Dynasty, 2 to 3 year span, Jalen Hurts is the one that's going to get you to that championship. Drake May might just get you to the door.
Now, let me ask you this. If you're on a championship team and you have either of these QBs, I think you're going to stick with them. But if you don't have one of these QBs, Fizz, I mean, Drake May is the QB3 in Dynasty right now. But the fact that Hurts graded out slightly ahead of Drake May, and he's actually cheaper in Dynasty, he's the QB6 right now, Fizz. Mm-hmm. Would you move off of, here are the guys that are ahead of Hurts. Would you move off of Mahomes for Hurts? Now that Daniels is hurt, are you going to move straight off of him 1-for-1 for Hurts? Maybe Malik Neighbors, maybe CeeDee Lamb. I know that pulls at your heartstrings, Fizz. But who are you willing to trade to win a championship with the number one QB in 5.
So I'm glad you asked that because we previously talked about the Jaden Daniels and Jalen Hurts situation, and I threw in the pick situation. So if I had to give away if I'm Jaden Daniels, with a contending team, I have Jaden Daniels. Am I willing to add a 26-second, which should be a late second, onto Jaden Daniels to get a Jalen Hurts and a 27-second? So kind of like a swap of the second round picks a year apart, but you still get kind of the same caliber player. One is just healthy and one isn't. So say that to say, yes, I would definitely trade Hurts for Jaden Daniels. Jaden Daniels for Jalen Hurts. I would definitely trade Pat Mahomes. As much as I love him, that's my guy. We think MVP Mahomes is back, but give me Jalen Hurts, man, because I just think right now with the tush push until they ban it, that's always a guarantee, bro. 6 points minimum on your team every week. He gets the goal line touchdown almost once a week every week. So guys like Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson, Jaden Daniels when he was healthy last year, at least anyway, and Jalen Hurts, man. When you can run the way they run and move how they move, when they score touchdowns, kind of hard to put them over Pat Mahomes, even when he's putting up MVP-like numbers. So, yeah, I would definitely trade a guy like Pat Mahomes. This receiver thing with CeeDee Lamb, that's when you put it at my heartstrings. So to keep it short, I'm going to live and die on the 88 hill. But if I'm a person outside of this farm of the ghosts of CeeDee Lamb, I might definitely have to press that button because the new receivers born every day we starting to see, Rob. We didn't think JSN was going to be receiver one, but damn it if he ain't trying to be that. So I think you're better off finding another CeeDee Lamb-like receiver than to find another Jalen Hurts type quarterback over the next couple of years. So I think I would do that as a regular person.
Yeah, I completely agree with you. Fizz, I was pretty surprised to see both Hurts and May at the top of my process. I bet a lot of people who are watching are going to be surprised as well.
Yeah.
Fizz, why do you think that? I mean, May, a lot of people were in on. I definitely wasn't during the offseason. So, but when it comes to Hurts, it seems like the sentiment, no matter how good he plays, no matter how many Super Bowls he takes his team to, the people are going to always be a little bit down on him. Is that have any worry whatsoever if you want to pay up to get a Hurts because of the market sentiment with him? Why do you think a lot of people are down on him?
Bro, I'm telling you, it's because he's an Eagle. We say this all the time about, like I said, people can say what they want to say about how they play this game, but you always play with your heart, bro. And if you're going to say in real life, I can't stand Dak. He plays with the Cowboys. If Dak played with the Seattle Seahawks, maybe you will like him. If Jalen Hurts wasn't on the Super Bowl winning Eagles and he played for the Las Vegas Raiders, you will like him a little bit more. So I think it's more so people playing with their heart and lying to us saying that they're playing with their mind, because there's no reason to hate Jalen Hurts if you aren't playing outside of your heart, bro.
Yeah, I completely agree. So stop hating on Hurts.
There we go.
It
hurts when you hate, baby. So don't hate on the Hurts. You feel me?
Absolutely. I love the Nike branding where it just says love Hurts.
There we go. Come on. You know I'm hip, big dog.
Yeah, I absolutely love that. Fizz, let's move on to the next tier of guys. These are going to be the guys that have elite production, but a discounted price.
There we go.
We're going to talk about Matthew Stafford, Sam Darnold, and Dak Prescott. So all three of those guys, those are number 3, number 4, and number 5 in my process, Fizz. So these are all top 6 guys. When it comes to Matthew Stafford, he is top 6 in PFF pass grade. They are number 1, Fizz, the Los Angeles Rams, in neutral pass rate. They pass the ball more than any other team in the NFL when it comes to first and second down neutral pass rate. His ADOT, Fizz, despite being old and all banged up.
But he said his back hurt, right? Remember they said that, Rock. I tried to remind the people, man. But continue.
Thank God for the immortal chamber they have parked outside in that Winnebago, Fizz. That thing works wonders. It looks like back in the old days of Detroit when he looked like one of the best QBs in fantasy football, and just in football in general, Fizz. He is having an MVP caliber season that no one just seems to be talking about. People are talking about Mahomes. People are talking about the surprise of Daniel Jones and Sam Darnold, who we'll talk about. But Matthew Stafford, man, he's been one of the best QBs. One of the best QBs, Fizz. I mean, outside of what they got in Cincinnati, can you name a better duo in the NFL than Puka Nacua and Devontae Adams? I can't. It's right up there with the best of all of them. So
I can give you one that's closer. Puka Nacua in the medical tent. But go ahead and continue, brother. That's my man, but he love that damn tent, brother.
he tries to play through it. Yeah. So Puka Nacua, one of the best wide receivers in the NFL, our favorite wide receiver in the NFL.
Sure.
Matthew Stafford also too is elite when it comes to big time throw percentage. Fizz. It helps when you have those elite pass catchers. The other guy, Sam Darnold, man, Fizz. We talked about it this morning. It seems like every week he gets better and better. It's just like it's wild what they're able to do with a new OC and Clint Kubiak, with a new QB, an offensive line that we're super worried about, Fizz. Everything is clicking for Sam Darnold and Seattle Seahawks. He is top 6 in QBR. He is top 6 in PFF pass grade. Average depth of target, he's only behind J.J. McCarthy, Fizz. He's second best when it comes to the deep ball in the ADOT. Adjusted yards per attempt, he's top 6, is also too. Passer rating, big time throw percentage. Rushing yards per game, Fizz. You would not think that Sam Darnold is amongst the elites when it comes to rushing yards per game. He's averaging 35 rushing yards per game.
You ain't got no choice but to run down them hallways, baby. You got to get it going. You feel me?
But he's not running away from a terrible offensive situation, Fizz. He is running. He's trying to run towards the promised land, try to take this Seattle Seahawks team back to the Super Bowl, which we have not seen since the days of Russell Wilson, Fizz. And also, too, adjusted completion percentage. I'm pretty sure he was perfect in the first half against the Washington Commanders. He is one of the best in the NFL. He's top 6 and 80.4%. But I'm going to talk about, if I had to pick one from this elite production discounted price tier, Fizz, I'm going to go with our guy out in Dallas. I'm going to go with Dak Prescott. Dak Prescott is having arguably probably the best season of his career, Fizz, in a lot of different ways. He is top 6 in QBR, PFF pass grade, and also to attempts per game, Fizz. As great as Javonte Williams has been, they have been leaning pretty heavily when it comes to the pass, and he's top 12 in just about every other metric. But the reason why I'm going with Dak Prescott over those other two guys, if I had to pick only one, you could probably get 2 of them for the price of, a Jalen Hurts or a Drake May, Fizz.
For sure.
Which wouldn't be a bad idea. But here's his playoff schedule. He's going up against Kansas City week 13, Detroit week 14, Minnesota week 15, LA Chargers week 16, and a very banged up Washington Commanders team in the championship week, Fizz. So
and
3 of those
day, man, you might want to get your presents that day. So sometimes that makes you want to play him, get him even more. You know what I'm saying? Christmas Day might be Alvin Kamara style game,
Yeah, it's going to be Alvin Kamara and Dak Prescott. Fizz, those 3 of those games are going to be top 10 matchups, and the other 2 are top 20 matchups.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's the reason why I'm going to end up going with Dak Prescott. If I had to just pick one, the other thing is also to keep this in mind with Matthew Stafford. So I did just trade for him yesterday. I got him for only a second and a third, Fizz. For Matthew Stafford, for a guy that is graded out number 3 in my process. And a lot of the worry is going to be he's probably going to retire after this year. That's probably going to be one of the biggest worries that people have with Stafford. He goes back and forth. One moment he says he's going to play for a couple of years. Another moment, they're bickering about money and he might retire. So you don't want that situation to end. But what do you think of these 3 QBs? What do you think of trading for Stafford who might retire, especially at that price, Fizz?
Yeah, I seen Stafford go for a 26th third in the offseason. So trust me, that was a steal on wheels if I ever seen one. So, but thinking about those guys you just named, bro, I like what you say you would put Dak at the top, not just because I'm a Cowboys fan, but we all know, regardless of how this defense just got an upgrade, they're giving up the most points in the league. I think they're 31st in almost every metric of the defensive side. So Dak has to put up 40 points a game. And I think sometimes when we look at quarterbacks, same way how you said Matt Stafford, right? Coming into the season, it was the back injury. It was, does he want to retire? We look at other young quarterbacks that maybe aren't in good situations, but they got a sexier name. But we tend to forget, bro, game script matters when it comes to the quarterback situation, especially when they're playing with a head coach that always got his foot on the gas. So when I got Schottenheimer, who, we questioned what he had going on with the Cowboys, but we knew Dak had a heater. He just had to stay healthy. When you got Matt Stafford, who got Sean McVay, and they want their best player to beat out the 49ers in that division. You got to get Matt Stafford to run up the score. Puka Nacua, you don't sign Devontae Adams if you don't want this man to put up 30 points a game. So I say all that to say you got to play the game script of who the quarterback has on his offense. And when I look at Dak with CeeDee Lamb, I look at Stafford and with Puka Nacua, and damn, right, I got the other quarterback in my head. I keep slipping. Who's the other quarterback again? They just slipped out of my head. This tier.
Oh, Sam Darnold, Matthew Stafford.
Sam Darnold. Yeah. Look, I'm sorry, Sam. You are a forgettable guy, but I don't mean it.
He turned into a ghost. He just disappeared. Yeah,
exactly. But again, when you got Sam Darnold, we had a lot of question marks, but they went and overpaid Cooper Kupp, as we seen. They got Torrey Horton. They made sure JSN stayed locked in. They upgraded the offensive line. So basically, what they showed us was on the offseason, we want Sam to be successful. We didn't put him in a bad situation, and we're going to play defense to combat the offense. So saying that to say, that's the process we need to start looking at is what is the team telling us that they want for this quarterback? And now we can put it to our fantasy team and say, okay, Dallas defense trash, Dak should be up here. Matt Stafford's with Sean McVay. They signed Devontae Adams. Matt Stafford should be up here. Sam Darnold, we upgraded everything around him, and we overpaid him in the all season, what everybody thought. He should be up here. So I believe looking at what the NFL tells us is really how we should start playing our dynasty leagues, because the teams ain't going to lie in real life, man. So why should we fake ourselves out?
Here's the other thing is too, I mean, you can spin every type of narrative you want to look either favorable or non-favorable. It's very hard to know who's going to be real, who's going to walk, and who's going to talk at Fizz, And you have to wait until after the first month. The first 2 months, for me personally, I think this is the perfect time of the year to be able to do this research. We have a lot of data to be able to look at a lot of these guys, because when it comes to our trades, Fizz, I'm going to go back to this analogy of the revolver. You only get 5 or 6 shots to be able to make trades within a limited amount of assets that you have when it comes to picks and the number of players that you may have on your team. You can't just be trading, wheeling and dealing every dang day. Because a lot of times, the more you do, the less you get out of it. You might actually mess up your team a little bit if you do that. So I like to wait until this time of the year to know, all right, who's going to be the best QBs? Who do I go all in on? And the nice thing with these 3 guys, Fizz, you're talking about Dak. He's the QB 16 I keep trade cut. Talking about Sam Darnold, QB 18. Matthew Stafford is the QB 26, Fizz. So it's just like you can go in for any of these guys. You're going to get way more out of them than what you pay, Fizz. And I love the way that you broke down all those situations, especially when it comes to guys like Matthew Stafford and Sam Darnold just got Rashid Shaheed, Fizz. I mean, that could be an absolutely perfect compliment. Sometimes these trades, they don't always work out in the best favor outside of injuries. Things just don't gel very well. I'm really, really hoping Clint Kubiak, formerly in New Orleans, getting him out of that Tyler what the shuck situation, Fizz, and pairing him up with one of the best deep throwers in 2025 and Sam Darnold, that could be great. So I will go back to what you said last week when it comes to pairing up these guys. So if you have a Rashid Shaheed and you know the QB, go out for Sam Darnold. Or if you have JSN as well. If you have a not Cooper Kupp, I'm sorry. Sorry about it, Fizz. If you have a Puka Nacua or Devontae Adams, go for Stafford if you need a QB. And it's the same thing with George Pickens or CeeDee Lamb or Jake Ferguson. And the nice thing with Dak is that he is, I think he's going to have the highest value of these 3 guys for this year and next year and the following year. Dak Prescott is going to stay, as long as he's healthy, he's going to be elite, Fizz. So.
Well, before you go to the next tier, my brother, shout out Dak Prescott. All right, man. It's next on you. I just had to always got to give my boy some love, baby. All right, we going to the next tier. Let's get it popping, big dog.
All right, this is the great but not cheap tier, Fizz. So my QB 6 was Herbert. My QB 11 was actually Bo Nix. My QB 12 was Jordan Love, and my QB 16, Fizz. Our guy we're talking about all offseason. He's the hottest name when it comes to these rookie QBs. That's Jackson Dart. So I have those 4 QBs. They've all been very, very solid throughout this year. Love what I'm seeing from Jackson Dart during his rookie campaign. He keeps losing soldiers, every time a week goes by for some to be able to help him in the war that they're waging out in New York City. But Dart just keeps trucking along, man. And he keeps looking better and better every week. So, but when it comes to winning a championship this year, he's got a tough playoff schedule, Fizz. But yeah, to grade out as a QB 16, top half of the NFL in your rookie year with only a few games of experience, Fizz, is very impressive. I was surprised about Bo Nix. It's been either Bo Nix or Blow Nix. I mean, every week it's very, very up and down. Mm-hmm. But his rushing upside has really saved his season from being far worse, Fizz. And that's one of the biggest things that's part of my process, whether it's rushing touchdowns, whether it's rushing yards per game. That accounts for a lot when it comes to, maybe even more than we think it does when it comes to fantasy production. So that's why he grades that as the QB 11, Fizz. But 2 guys I want to talk about the most, Justin Herbert and Jordan Love. What are your thoughts about those guys? A lot of them have been for the last few years. We've been waiting on these guys. We want them to break out. We want them to be the elite asset that we think their talent is. And they're both in great situations. Fantastic coaches, great running games with Amari Hampton, Josh Jacobs, and a bevy of pass catchers in both teams, Fizz. So what are your thoughts on Herbert? What are your thoughts on Love? And I'm going to get into some of the metrics with them, but I want to get your thoughts first with those guys.
Yeah, I'm glad you brought those 2 up because you ended it the way I wanted to start it, was the weapons, right? They both have, when we look at Justin Herbert, we didn't know what QJ, we didn't know what to expect from him. He's having a breakout season. Keenan Allen got re-signed. Larry McConkey, who isn't playing what we thought he would play or how we thought he would play, but he's still there. He's a presence that we know can go off at any week. They went and got Amari Hampton. The offensive line kind of fell apart, but he has a plethora of weapons that he doesn't rely on one guy every single week to just be that one. He can just get it to everybody. Same as Jordan Love. Jordan Love lost Jaden Reed super early. Matthew Golden isn't doing much. Tucker Craft just got hurt, but Tucker Craft was going off. Matthew Golden's still around. He's a rookie. Romeo Dobbs. So consistent running games on both sides of the ball, both teams too. So these guys right here, as much as we didn't want them, Rock, doing our mock drafts, they was dropping round for round. We didn't know when to take them. They probably are the most strongest when you look at overall the coaching and the weapons, because they don't rely on a CeeDee Lamb every week. Because if he not here, I don't know what to do. Or, I got this number 1 receiver, Drake London. I don't have, a lot of these guys lock in on one guy, and once he's gone, they don't know what to do. So Herbert and Love might be the 2 cheat codes that, hey, man, I just lost Tucker Craft. I got Luke Musgrave. Not that he's a Craft, but I still have another guy to step in. So I do like both of their situations, and the coaching on top of it just add the icing on the cake, man, for these guys.
Absolutely. Let me give Herbert and Love a little bit of love when it comes to these metrics. So Herbert is top 6 in fantasy points per game, PFF pass grade. The Chargers, Fizz, are number 6 in neutral pass rate. They absolutely love throwing the ball around to that hydra they have at wide receiver with Ladd McConkey, Keenan Allen, and QJ. They have 36.1 attempts per game for Herbert. That's top 6 in the NFL. He's also top 6 in rushing yards per game, and he is bottom 6 in turnover-worthy play rate. Now, when it comes to Love, he is top 6 in QBR, and then as well as adjusted completion percentage, and he's top 12 in a lot of different categories. Now, the 2 big caveats we got to address is that with Herbert, he just lost both. He now has both of his tackles out, with Joe Alt having season-ending ankle injury. So that will have an effect, Fizz. It just can't not have an effect. You don't go from
Slayton as well. You lost Slayton too early.
Yeah, you don't go from like the 2 best tackle duo, 2 best bookend tackles in the NFL, and think that if you lose both of them, then it's not going to have a huge effect. The biggest effect that a lot of it's going to have is on those deeper passes, probably. They're not going to be able to develop as easily. You're going to have to rely very heavily on Yak So you don't like to see that, and it's going to have an effect on the running game as well. But with Jordan Love losing Tucker Kraft, I mean, Romeo Dobbs is having a great season, but like we still are waiting on Golden, and they do have a lot of pass catchers. I mean, Dontavian Wicks, Malik Heath. It's just like you name it. Christian Watson, luckily, has come back. Hopefully, he can stay healthy. But with those injuries, Fizz, are you still wanting to acquire Justin Herbert and Jordan Love? Or maybe, just maybe, you're going to go for either a higher tier or a cheaper tier with you guys?
Well, I just say it depends on the price, and I think those two guys, as much as I just spoke on, they have all of these weapons. People still don't want them. They hear those
Yeah.
names and think they unsexy, and I just prefer to have other guys. So I think even though they are surrounded around talent, you can still get them for prices that are reasonable because people still just don't want the guys for whatever reason. And I will say, just to add on Justin Herbert, as much as it hurts his passing, it might help his rushing because now he's gonna have to scramble a lot, move around a lot. I believe the week prior he did a lot of rushing. So that could help. Not saying that it's a good thing because he's playing sporadic. Like I don't know where to go, but as far as their price go, people still don't think these are sexy names, bro. We drafted today, these guys would still be. I'm gonna wait on Love. I don't know. So these two guys, for whatever reason, will always be affordable in most people's eyes. And I would just say go for it, man. I trust them to get you through those rough times in the playoff matches and the championship. If I had to buy low on an elite quarterback prospect, I'm definitely buying two of these two guys are number one and number two on my list just for the price range.
And if you are going to take the risk on, I would say Jordan Love, he's right up there. He's tied with Dak Prescott as one of the best playoff schedules, Fizz. But here's who he has. He has Detroit in week 13, Chicago week 14, Denver week 15, Chicago again in week 16, and Baltimore in week 17. Fizz, outside of that game against Green Bay, or not Green Bay, I'm sorry, the Denver, they have one of the best playoff schedules. And it looked pretty bleak at the beginning of the offseason. I remember grading a lot of these pass catchers very low when it came to their playoff schedule, but teams change, defenses change, and outside of Denver, those are all top 10 matchups that they have for the playoff schedule. So one little extra tiebreaker if you are considering Love.
For sure.
Fizz, let's go on to the last tier of buys. That's the great and discounted. We got Daniel Jones, Jacoby Brissett, Baker Mayfield, Jared Goff. I want to talk about two of these guys. That's Daniel Jones and Jacoby Brissett, the two most surprising names on this list. Daniel Jones graded out as the QB9 in my process, and Jacoby Brissett, he graded out as the QB13 in my process. Daniel Jones, will start off with him. So he has 5 rushing touchdowns, Fizz. That's good enough for top 6. The Colts, despite having such great success with Jonathan Taylor, are still 4th in neutral pass rate. And when it comes to Jacoby Brissett, this was probably one of the most surprising ones. Neutral pass rate, the Cardinals are 5th in the NFL. In turnover-worthy plays, Fizz, he leads the league at 0.7% and keeping the ball out of harm's way. When I look at a lot of where he graded out, Fizz, as my QB13, and then I go all the way down to Kyler Murray, he graded out as my QB25. Between what you see on film, between these metrics, Jacoby Brissett, it makes sense the reason why they're moving on from him. Aside from a salary cap and what they invested in Kyler Murray, it's just like both what you see with your eyes and the analytics back up this decision for Gannon to move on from Kyler Murray, who's been putting our fantasy teams in hell the last couple of years. Trey McBride, thank God that he has Jacoby Brissett. Same thing I hope from Marvin Harrison Jr.
That's the one, sure. Yeah.
Yeah. So it is a very bold move, very surprising move. But hopefully he continues to play at this rate, Fizz. So between Jacoby Brissett, who I just acquired yesterday for 4th, Fizz, there ain't no other QBs that you're going to get that have top 12 upside that you're going to be able to get for 4th. So I think for the price, there is no one better on this list than Jacoby Brissett. And then with Daniel Jones, it's going to cost you about a first and a third, maybe a first and a second, Fizz. Maybe if he has another bad game, you can get a first and a third for him. But who do you feel the most confident with these two? Are you worried that Daniel Jones maybe reverts back into New York Daniel Jones?
Well, speaking from someone that traded a first between Daniel Jones and Tua, traded a first for Tua before the Tyreek Hill injury over Daniel Jones, and sweating right now thinking about it. But I'll just say the problem is with trying to pick which one you think. I think it is the price, right? Jacoby, you can get it for a fourth. That's the one I'm going to take, because I'm going to just go with, I still might have that Daniel Jones one in my back pocket for later, but I'm going to go with the cheapest price for now. And if it goes through and it keeps going, we're going to ride this wave out until it falls out. So I would go for Jacoby first because of the price. And then the Daniel Jones one, if it continues and he still looks good and Jacoby's situation's changing because the ownership says, hey, I'm not paying Kyler to sit at home, play Call of Duty, we're going to go get Daniel Jones later. But I would prioritize Jacoby first because of the price, and then check on Daniel Jones once that Jacoby luck runs out, if it does.
Yeah, I agree. And just in case you were curious what their playoff schedules look like, Daniel Jones plays the Houston Texans, the Jacksonville Jaguars, the Seattle Seahawks, San Francisco, and Jacksonville again in week 17. And then when it comes to Brissett, he's got Tampa Bay, the LA Rams, Houston, Atlanta, and Cincinnati. Man, if you have Jacoby Brissett, he wins you a championship because he had to play the bum-ass Cincinnati Bengals. You're going to look like one smart mother effort being able to trade a fourth for him. So hopefully it does work out in our favor. Jacoby Brissett usually looks best in short spurts. So hopefully, just hopefully, over the next 7 weeks, he looks the part, man. It doesn't make us look like fools, Fizz. So the last two guys that we have to talk about before we move on to the sells, Jaden Daniels and Joe Burrow are both hurt. We might not see either of them for the rest of the season. This is also going to be the cheapest they're probably ever going to be, Fizz. Are you trying to acquire two elite assets in Jaden Daniels and Joe Burrow?
Funny, I went and looked at all my leagues and saw you had Jaden Daniels in one. I said, damn, Rock ain't going to give him to me. So let me move on. So, yes, I am looking to acquire Jaden Daniels specifically because this is the time where people are going to start shaking their head. They're already cooking up this RG3 conspiracy thing. So, yes, play that game. You are right, bro. This is an RG3 thing. You don't want nothing to do with him. Let me handle it because I can take care of it. So I would definitely try to go get Jaden Daniels. And you can't go wrong with getting Joe Burrow and those weapons he has out in Cincinnati. So getting a little closer to Joe Burrow, maybe coming back than Jaden Daniels. So if you want to do it, Joe Burrow might be the priority first and then the Jaden Daniels. But I'm going to get both, no question. Just let me know what the price is.
Joe Flacco. I mean, he's having career games, Fizz, with the Cincinnati Bengals, with the elite duo that they have in T. Higgins and Jamar Chase. It may not have been the smartest decision when it comes from a football perspective, paying 60% of your whole salary to just three guys. But man, Fizz, it is fun as hell in fantasy football, especially if you have Joe Burrow. So Joe Flacco is graded as my QB 23, Fizz. You can only imagine how great it would be if Joe Burrow was healthy with that. So this is your last chance. Go get Joe Burrow. Try to go get Jaden Daniels. But Fizz, let's end things on a bad note. Let's try to save some people some heartache and some pain with trying to sell some of these guys. Let's go through the sells. So thank you for that. That was fire, literally. Kyle CJ Stroud, Michael Penix, Bryce Young, Geno Smith, your guy that you just traded a first for, Tua, and Cam Ward. Those were the worst QBs that graded out in my process, Fizz. Tua was 32nd out of 33. Cam Ward, unfortunately, it is as bad as it looks out in Tennessee.
It is.
As my worst. Kyler Murray. So with these guys, with these sells, so they're having terrible situations. They're having terrible seasons. Question, I think, when it comes to all these guys, is which ones are we selling and not thinking twice about it because the situation is so bad we just need to get out of it, or which of these guys are we holding in hopes that things turn around? I think that's going to be the best way that we try to parse through this. So let's start with Kyler Murray. He graded out as my QB 25. He has been benched for Jacoby Brissett. Are you just holding on to him till he becomes the next New York Jet? Because that might not be an upgrade at all, Fizz. It might actually get worse for him. Or are you what are you trying to do with Kyler Murray?
Well, first of all, I drafted him so high that my pride will probably stick into this, and I'm gonna say, man, I can't do certain things I won't be able to do. But I would just say, I'm gonna just pray that you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna trade for Jacoby Brissett. I need both. If I have Kyler, I have to get Brissett, because who's to say Jacoby won't get hurt in a week or two, or who's to say Jacoby won't throw 3 interceptions? I mean, he did play the Dallas Cowboys and then won his job. That's whoop-de-doo. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not saying that that was impossible to do, but I'm just saying, man, when I think about Jacoby Brissett winning his job playing the Cowboys, it's a chance that he could lose that job in 2 to 3 weeks. And they said Kyler isn't 100% healthy. Me personally, I think this is just a spank on the wrist to Kyler to say, hey, we're not playing with you, bro. It's time to grow up. You want to take this job and lead us, or do you want to keep playing? So if I have Kyler, bro, I'm not selling him. You're not getting him from me for just pennies on a dollar. You just better off giving me Jacoby Brissett. Let's keep it going. But looking at the other guys like a Michael Penix. Well, I'm sorry, I don't want to get too far into your list. Are you going too far, or we still sticking with Kyler?
The only thing I would say with Kyler, so when you look where he's at, he's the 96th overall player. So you have to knock him at least 10 more spots because things don't upgrade overnight when it comes to this KTC ranking. So if we knock him down, he's going to be in the same category as, another guy on this list, Bryce Young, Jalen Warren, Kyle Pitts. I'm sure if you had the choice between Kyle Pitts and Kyler Murray, you're going to go for your guy Kyle out in Atlanta. And it just looks bad. It just like maybe there are guys like Khalil Shakir who maybe you would be willing to trade straight up for. Cortland Sutton, Dalton Kincaid. But basically, he's just going to be worth only 2 seconds. No one's going to give you a first for him.
For sure.
So if you want to pivot, you're going to get the best deals whenever it comes to all these sells. Guys, trade cross-positionally. Do not try to trade Kyler Murray for another QB that's playing better. It's just like no one is – I mean, even Matthew Stafford, if someone's trying to win a championship, they're not going to take on Kyler Murray for Matthew Stafford. Damn the KTC ranks, you're going to have to go to a different position. Or a guy that's hurt. I would personally be willing to do Ricky Pearsall, who we haven't seen in over a month, Fizz, but I know is good. I know he's good. I know his price is going to go back up once he is healthy. So if you could do something like that. But yeah, let's go on to one of these other guys on this sell list. You want to go with Penix or Stroud?
Let's talk Penix, man. He has a sexier, well, I ain't gonna say sexier offense, but he's one of those guys that when you have a Bijan Robinson, who we know is like almost a receiver, running back one, Drake London, who I was very high on coming into the season, Kyle Pitts, who I'm still high on, who you broke down is kind of have a playoff stretch. He's playing better than he's played. How is he on this list? You know what I'm saying? Like having those weapons, no way he should be on this list. So yes, let's talk about Michael Penix, because I think for those that maybe had their head down for whatever reason, their eyes are gonna pop back up. But talking about Michael Penix, brother, that's for sure.
Michael Penix, him and JJ McCarthy were two guys that I was very excited about with their situations, with the bevy of weapons that they have. I mean, he's got one of the best ensembles on offense in the NFL with Bijan Robinson, with Drake London, with Kyle Pitts. It looks awesome, but it hasn't looked awesome for him. He is graded out top 12 in neutral pass rate, so that's not even him. That's the Falcons. And then when it comes to attempts per game, because their defense either shows up and looks elite and takes down the Buffalo Bills, or it takes the day off and lost 30 points against the Carolina Panthers. Yeah. So very up and down team, very up and down quarterback play. Fizz, he grades out top 18 in QBR and rushing touchdowns, and that's it. He is outside of the top 18 in every other category. That's why he ranked as the 28th QB for me. For me, my rule when it comes to breakout QBs is usually we see it between their second and third year. Actually, no, I take that back. It's usually at the end of their first year, going into their second year. So if I don't see a radical change, which I'm not holding my breath for when it comes to Michael Penix by the end of the year, that means I'm kind of just done with him. So I'm going to actually expedite that process. It's week 10. I want to ship him off right now because it's just like he's had 2 years, basically a year and a half to be able to figure it out. And I don't necessarily trust the team out in Atlanta, which is crazy to say. But with the team really being centered around Bijan Robinson and then Drake London, yeah. So it's just like for me personally, I know that it's kind of cold and brutal to be like, well, you have 2 years to show me something, but Fizz, I don't know. I'm not related to the guy. I owe nothing to Michael Penix. I had belief in him, and after 2 years, I'm just ready to move on to something else. So Michael Penix, I think you can at least get something for him, maybe a first, just straight up. I would be willing to ship him away for just a first straight up. And then the other situation that's very tough is CJ Stroud. So what are your thoughts on CJ Stroud? Because he graded out only 2 spots ahead of Michael Penix. It has not looked good in Houston. And I think with him, it's all about his environment. And I don't see his environment getting any better anytime soon.
Yeah, and unfortunately, man, it's coming off that high road of the first year. He broke out, and he kind of came down a little bit last year. And we thought maybe this year they changed offensive coordinators, it would get right back on track. As we could see, that wasn't the case, right? They got rid of offensive linemen. Nico Collins looked like he's not playing his best. Nick Chubb. It's just a lot of like what's going on in Houston. And I think CJ Stroud's problem is he just doesn't have what we like to say, that dog in him, bro. Seems like he's there to play, but as a fantasy dynasty owner of a team, manager of a team, when I look at players, again, I play with my heart. When I watch CJ Stroud, he doesn't make me want to buy him. It's like, he's a good guy, he seems, but he don't give me that Baker Mayfield, like, you know what? Everything bad around me, I need everything to get good. I'm a lock in. CJ Stroud doesn't convince me that he's going to fix the situation. And as a fan of the game, I don't think he's going to convince me to fix my situation on the team. So say all that to say, bro, wherever he was going early in the year, I know it was around the Justin Herberts and the Jordan Loves. But right now, to see him down at the Michael Penix and lower, man, it's pretty tough right now. And do you take Trevor Lawrence or CJ Stroud, man? We like it's not looking good out here, bro.
Neither.
South. Daniel Jones, when Daniel Jones is running your division, is not looking good, baby. All right. But yeah, I think I'm a big pass on CJ Stroud, even during the offseason, but definitely right now, bro.
All right, Fizz. So I think CJ Stroud might be one of the biggest lies on Keep Trade Cut because I can't see anyone. Here are all the players that go after CJ Stroud. So Brock Purdy, who's been hurt, but I would still rather have over him. Dak Prescott, I would definitely have over CJ Stroud. Daniel Jones, I would rather have over him. Devontae Smith, Waddle, Travis Hunter, I would take over CJ Stroud. I just have more faith in that situation turning around than Stroud's. But the thing with Stroud, you brought up like what type of QB you want to invest in. Man, I don't think Baker Mayfield gets killed behind his offensive line the same way CJ Stroud is. CJ Stroud looks like one of those soldiers that came back from war and he saw way too many things to be the same. He looks shell-shocked. He looks like a guy that he goes to work just to only get killed. That's it. There's just no winning recipe there, and he's demoralized. But the talent is still there. I think he's still one of the most accurate QBs in the NFL. He's got an elite defense on the other side of the ball. So they just need to figure out the OC scheme and get some freaking offensive linemen. Stop trading them away just because they're not, whatever you want to call it, leadership quality. Man, them trading away Tunsil was one of the dumbest moves I think I've seen in a while. And your QB is getting killed out there. So if you don't want to be in on that situation, you want to move off of Stroud, I want to, bat an eye at that. I traded him at the beginning of the offseason, Fizz, to Coop. Thank you, Coop, for Ashton Genty. I'd rather have Ashton Genty, who has a hell of a lot more value than CJ Stroud. I did that straight up. So yeah, we can move on to the only other names that I have on here, Fizz. We could just finish it with this. I have Bryce Young, Geno Smith, Tua Tagovailoa, and Cam Ward. So maybe we should talk about Cam Ward. Tua and Gino are just done. Just trade him. Just trade him straight up for number 2 wide receiver. I traded Geno Smith for Alec Pierce straight up 2 weeks ago. I look like a freaking genius, I think, doing
trade
that.
Him for a number 2 pencil if you can get that. To be honest, it is what it is, brother.
Yeah, Tua only plays well when he gets punched in the face by Mike McDaniel and has a swollen eyeball.
He about to catch 2 of these in a minute, man. He gonna fix my damn team.
So I know Bryce Young. I know Bryce Young's your guy. Cam Ward was my guy.
Yeah.
What are we doing with these 2 guys?
And it's crazy not to go back on C.J. Stroud, but think about that class. A-Rich, C.J. Stroud, Bryce Young. All 3 of those guys look rattled, bro. They look rattled as not as rookies per se, but as right now, you wouldn't trust neither one of them. And I trust C.J. Stroud more than any of them, but I would not start a franchise with either one of those guys right now. And they were all in the same class. So maybe that was a bad year for us that we didn't believe it. But to get on Bryce and Cam Ward, it's another bad situation. The one thing I will say, the difference between that class and Cam Ward gives me that energy like he's ready to fix his situation. It looks bad. It doesn't look good at all. But he doesn't look like he's fighting the war of I'm coming to work to die today. He looked like he knows I'm going to die, but I'm going to fight through the process of dying. So I'm not saying I'm buying the guy at all. But what I'm saying is I'm buying his energy of calling his players out, calling the coaching out. Look, man, we trash. We need to get this together. I think he came in with a chip on his shoulder, 0-star rating coming into college, built his way up to the number 1 pick. So I think watching his college reign, Rock, we got to believe that he's going to try to fight through anything because he did it his whole college situation. I'm not giving up on the guy. I'm giving up on the Titans, but I'm not giving up on Cam Ward. So if I had to pick between Bryce and Cam Ward, it's definitely going to be Cam Ward. I just believe the Panthers are in a better team situation. The Titans are in a better quarterback mentality situation because Bryce Young right now is putting up 150 yards and then winning games. I don't trust nothing about that. Give me Cam Ward right now if I had to pick between the 2, though, bro.
Well, I'm sorry, Fizz, but we don't get any points for style or mentality or swag or energy or juice or none of that shit. Because Cam Ward, he graded out as my worst QB in my process. Fizz, he is averaging 8.8 points per game. He is in the bottom 24 when it comes to neutral pass rate. So that's a Titan stat. So he isn't getting a whole hell of a lot of opportunities. They keep wanting to run the ball with Tony Pollard and Tajay Spears. I don't know why. He is top 24 in ADOT at 8.4 yards. He is top 12 in attempts per game because they're always losing. So that's not Cam Ward's stat either. Turnover worthy play percentage. That is top 24 for him, 2.7%. That is literally the only thing that he has to his game, is that as bad as the situation has been, he has done his absolute best in trying to take care of the ball, which has kept them close in a couple of games. I mean, they were 1 touchdown away with keeping up with the Chargers last week, Fizz. But when you grade out as the worst, I look at this Titans team, and I have no faith in them whatsoever being able to turn around the franchise. I have no faith in them to being able to develop a QB. We haven't seen a good QB in Tennessee since freaking Steve McNair, as far as a guy that was drafted there and developed there. Like Ryan Tannehill had a couple really great seasons there with Mike Vrabel. But Mike Vrabel ain't there. Ryan Tannehill ain't there. Derrick Henry is not there. So it's a completely different team. And I am not going to turn into a skeleton waiting around for Cam Ward for us to finally be able to use him in fantasy football, Fizz. So if you have Cam Ward, unfortunately, I'm going to be selling his ass. So
okay, so what's the price then? So we closing on him. What do you expect to get back for Cam Ward? Because if I just took him at the 104 pick, I'm gonna keep him. I'm gonna just wait. I'm gonna become a skeleton, in your words, before I give him up for anything. So you let me know if I'm just somebody that's got to get rid of him. I'm tired of looking at this name, tired of looking at this player and these terrible numbers. What we signing up for, big dog?
Well, he is the QB 23, so things have gotten really, really bad for him. I can't even freaking find him on Keep Trade Cut, Fizz. He's like in the catacombs of Keep Trade Cut. I just want to see who's around him.
Yeah, I'm looking right now.
He's 85. He's the 85th overall player in Superflex. So he is at least on page 2. Let's see who's going after him. So I would definitely rather have Loveland, Fannin, Pearsall, Kenneth Walker. Why can't you just figure your shit out? We have Charbonnet taking half of your touches and all the good ones in the goal line. Definitely don't want Golden. I know you definitely don't want Golden.
No, I wouldn't take him at all. So I'm gonna ask you this. Nah, because I know we don't talk about running backs or players that's injured. I was gonna say, what about Cam Scatterbo?
No, only because
he's hurt. I got it.
Yeah, he's hurt. Fizz, if I'm a contender, I'm going to trade him straight up for Devontae Adams or George Kittle.
Okay. Yeah, I like that range. That's a good range.
Or I'm going to pay up just to get out of the headache, Fizz. Would you pay up an extra to get a Xavier Worthy? Zay Flowers, if I was a basketball team, Zay Flowers with Lamar Jackson looked like a top 12 wide receiver. He's still cheap. I would pay up to get out of that for Travion Henderson. Jared Goff would probably be the next QB I'd be targeting. So, yeah, that's what I would do.
Yeah, I think you tear up. I don't think you tear down. You just tear up. Nobody's going to give you a player and a plus for Cam Ward. You're going to have to give up that plus to tear up. So, wipe your tears up and tear your damn quarterback room up, baby. All right, that's what we're going to have to do. But hey, brother. That's the end of the QB saga, I believe, right? Or we got something else cooking? What else you got?
So that's the end of the QBs. Be sure to tune in next week. We're going to go into the diva position, the sexy position, the high-flying one, wide receivers, Fizz, and then we're going to finish this series out with the RBs. We're going to try to run these teams into a championship. So, yeah, Fizz, thank you for putting this all together. I love being able to share my research with the people. So, yeah, this was absolutely awesome.
Yeah, man. And I will say this, man. We've been trying to keep it real professional for these pre-recorded, baby. Because, we like to get it popping up in here. But for those that haven't watched this, man, I'm Fizz. That's T-Rock. We bought the QBs this week. Go buy and sell your ass off. And until then, we'll be back next time, baby. So make sure you tap in, like, and subscribe. And, we're going to bring them vibes, baby. So, Rock, sign us out, big dog. We out of this thing, baby. And check out this fire thumbnail my boy put together. We love y'all. Catch you next time.